Iraq is a constitutional democracy with a republican, federal, pluralistic system of government, consisting of 18 provinces or governorates. Quote, although the constitution recognizes Islam as the official religion and states that no law may be enacted that contradicts the established provisions of Islam, it also guarantees freedom of thought, conscience, and religious belief and practice. While the government generally endorses these rights, unsettled conditions have prevented effective governance in parts of the country, and the government's ability to protect religious freedoms has been handicapped by insurgency, terrorism, and sectarian violence. Since 2003, when the government of Saddam Hussein fell, the Iraqi government has generally not engaged in state-sponsored persecution of any religious group, calling instead for tolerance and acceptance of all religious minorities. However, some government institutions have continued the long-standing discriminatory practices against the Baha'i and Wahhabi Sunni Muslims. Radical Islamic elements continued to exert tremendous pressure on other groups to conform to extremist interpretations of Islam's precepts. In addition, frequent sectarian violence, including attacks on religious places of worship, hampered the ability to practice religion freely. This sectarian violence was heightened by the February 22, 2006, attack on the Al-Askari Mosque in Samarra, one of the most significant Shia mosques in the world, containing the mausoleums of the 10th and 11th Imams. Most recently, uprisings of the Islamic State, formerly called the Islamic State of Iraq, and the Levant of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, have led to violations of religious freedom in certain parts of Iraq. IS is a Sunni jihadist group that claims religious authority over all Muslims across the world and aspires to bring most of the Muslim-inhabited regions of the world under its political control, beginning with Iraq. ISIS follows an extreme anti-Western interpretation of Islam, promotes religious violence, and regards those who do not agree with its interpretations as infidels or apostates. Concurrently, it aims to establish a Salafist-orientated Islamist state in Iraq, Syria, and other parts of the Levant. Religious demography. Due to increased violence, internal population migration, and lack of government capacity, statistics from different sources vary. Numbers are often estimates from non-governmental organizations rather than census data or other official sources. Official statistics are noted where applicable. The country has an area of 438,317 square kilometers and a population of 31 million. 97% of the population is Muslim. Shia Muslims, predominantly Arabs but also including Turkmen, Filis, Kurds, and other groups, constitute a 60 to 65% majority. Sunni Muslims make up 32 to 37% of the population, of whom 18 to 20% are Sunni Kurds, 12 to 16% Sunni Arabs, and the remainder are Sunni Turkmen. The remaining 3% are Chaldeans, Assyrians, Syriacs, Armenians, and Protestant Christians, as well as Yazidis, Sabine Mandians, Baha'is, Shabaks, and Karkais. Shia, although predominantly located in the south, are also a majority in Baghdad and have communities in most parts of the country. Sunnis formed the majority in the center and the north of the country. According to the official 1987 census, there were 1.4 million Christians living in the country. Current estimates place the number of Christians at fewer than 1 million, with Chaldeans comprising the majority. In August 2006, Chaldean Auxiliary Bishop Andreas Abuna of Baghdad, who died in July 2010, stated that of an estimated 1.2 million Christians living in the country before the 2003 invasion, only 600,000 remain. According to church leaders, an estimated 30% of the country's Christian population lives in the north, with the largest Christian communities located in Mosul, Erbil, Dohuk, and Kirkuk. The primate of the Armenian diocese reported that 19,000 Armenian Christians remained in the country, primarily in the cities of Baghdad, Basra, Kirkuk, and Mosul. The population of Armenian Christians reportedly declined from 22,000 in the previous reporting period. Yazidi leaders reported that most of the country's 600,000 Yazidi resided in the north, near Dohuk and Mosul. Shabak leaders stated that the country's estimated 200,000 Shabaks resided mainly in the north, near Mosul. The Sabine Mandian community continued to decline. According to Sabine Mandian leaders, 5,000 to 7,000 remained in the country, down from 10,000 in the previous reporting period. The Khakai, sometimes referred to as Ahlehaqq, resided primarily in Kirkuk, Mosul, and Kankin in the Diyala province. Most are ethnic Kurds. There was no data available on active participation in religious services or rituals. However, terrorist attacks rendered many mosques, churches, and other holy sites unusable. Many worshippers reportedly did not attend religious services or participate in religious events because of the threat of violence. There were numerous reports of places of worship closing due to those threats. The government provided significant support for the Hajj by organizing travel routes and assisting pilgrims with obtaining immunization paperwork for entry to Saudi Arabia. The government also provided funding to Sunni and Shia Waqf, or religious endowments, which accepted Hajj applications from the public and submitted them to the Supreme Council for the Hajj. The council, attached to the Prime Minister's office, organized the lottery process that selected pilgrims for official Hajj visas from among the submitted applications.